In this episode, we look at science. We look at our Learning Kit 4. How does light behave? Let's get this in a little closer. So, materials needed. We need our first step in science. That would be this book. And they say we need to go to pages 97 to 104. That's the text we use. They have another suggested text, the Mission Science, page 68 to 69. In terms of objectives, let's go with this. In this lesson, what do we hope to achieve? You will learn to explain what light is and what produces it, investigate the properties of light, and distinguish between luminous and non-luminous objects and organisms. All right, so far so good. Now, success criteria. I will know that I have learned when I can do some of these things or all of these things. 1. Explain what light is and what produces it. And if you are able to do so, if you have success, then you could give that a tick in the appropriate box. Correctly complete activities on properties of light. So we do that, we give that a check. Differentiate between luminous and non-luminous objects and organisms. Classify objects or organisms as luminous or non-luminous. So I'm going to take the parent voice here. Here we have the parent voice. So pay attention to this now. Light is a form of energy that enables all living things to survive on Earth. Important point, light is a form of energy. All right? And this light enables all living things to survive on Earth. It makes it possible for us to see. All light must come from a light source. So once we have light, there is a source. The sun is the Earth's most important natural light source. It makes and gives off its own light. Objects or organisms that make and emit their own light are luminous. So anything that can make its own light is luminous. Now read in your text to answer the questions: where does light come from? How does light behave? All right, so again, key points here. Light is a form of energy. Without light, we won't have life on Earth. Okay, the sun is the most important natural light source we have here. The sun makes and gives off its own light. Objects and organisms that emit their own light are said to be luminous. Right? And we have some questions that we need to answer from the text. All right. Let's go to our teaching points. What is light and what produces it? Light is a form of energy that enables all living things to survive on Earth. Without light from the sun, the world would be in darkness. So darkness is the absence of light. Plants wouldn't grow and no other life would exist. Now, plants depend on the light as producers to create food, and animals, other animals and humans depend on plants for food. Sunlight is known as visible light. Sunlight is known as visible light. And as you go on, you will learn that there are other types of light that we are not able to see with the naked eye. Okay. It heats up or warms the earth, making it possible for us to see. So, sunlight provides the illumination by which things are seen and also provides heat. The sun makes and gives off its own light. All light must come from a light source. That is, any object or organism that makes light. Light sources are either natural or man-made, or we could say they are artificial. So let's go with some of these sources here. It says here are some examples of natural and man-made light sources. We have a bulb, and we have the sun. We have fire, and we have a candle. I'm not certain what this is, if this would be stars in the sky. Okay, but let's go with this. The bulb, man-made. The sun would be natural. Fire by itself is natural, but a candle would be uh, man-made. If these are stars or other heavenly bodies called stars, we know that other stars are just like our sun. No, in fact, our sun is a star. It's the nearest star to us. Therefore, if these are stars, then those would be natural as well. All right. The sun is the Earth's most important natural light source. The stars are also natural light sources. So I think that these are stars. All right. So again, the light bulb, fire, and candles are all man-made or artificial light sources. So the light bulb, the fire, and the candle are artificial. I guess why they're saying this is man-made, because you would have put this together to make it. Okay. However, a forest fire, not necessarily started by man, could be classified as different. All right. So fire. All right. Let's go with this one. Objects or organisms that make or emit their own light are luminous. So once we say that something makes its own light, it is luminous. They are primary sources of light. However, most objects and organisms do not make their own light. Instead, they throw back or reflect light. Let's pay attention to this. We'll come up on this later. They throw back or reflect light that reaches them. And where does this come from? It reaches them from luminous sources, so it seems like they're giving off light. Okay? These objects or organisms are called non-luminous or illuminated objects. So, for example, I have my famous red pencil here. The reason we can see this red pencil is because light is bouncing on the white pencil, and it throws back this light so that we're able to see said red pencil and also the things on the piece of paper. Okay. All right. So this would be an illuminated object. So the very paper that we're using now is illuminated by a light source that I have here. Did you know the moon is non-luminous? But me hear about moonlight, and people walk at night by moonlight, right? And old people would sing this song where they're playing with the stones by moonlight. What's the name of this song again? That Moonshine Doll. Okay, so people would play by moonlight. All right. Um so have you noticed that it is never as bright as the sun? That's true. That is because it throws back or reflects light from the sun. All right. Um let's look at this. All right. Here we go. It says let's look at some of the properties of light. So here we have some diagrams. One, this is one. So somebody's eyes here, and we have some form of a light source here. All right. Here is some light source. This looks like a flashlight, and I guess these are the rays of light. It comes up off this. And here we have rays of light, and they seem to bend as they go through something. Don't know what this is yet, but we learn more as we go along. The path along which light travels from its source is called light rays. A bundle of light rays make up a beam of light, which is what we usually see and not just a single ray. Can you identify some of the properties of light shown above? I'm thinking that if I move one of these and I'm looking straight through these little holes in the middle here, I may not be able to see the candle or the light source here. All right, so light, if I put something here, it could block the light. All right, light can bounce, I guess. If this is a mirror and I'm looking here and the light, light can bounce. All right, and we'll learn more about this one afterwards, because this looks like the light is, bending. Okay, all right, let's go to the other side here. So it says here, light has several properties. Light has several properties. Light has several characteristics, several things about it. You should notice that light always travels in a straight line. Okay, light travels in a straight line. It travels in a straight line from its source. So whatever the source is, it will travel in a straight line from the source. Also, when light rays hit a smooth, flat surface, such as metal or mirror, they can change directions and all the light is reflected evenly in straight, orderly lines in one direction. So that appears to be what was happening here. Okay, so this one appears to be light traveling in straight lines here. Okay, this one, light being, you know, reflected or bouncing back in straight lines. All right, learning. Let's go. So, also, when light rays hit a smooth, flat surface such as metal or a mirror, they can change direction. Yes, we see that. And all light is reflected evenly in straight, orderly lines in one direction. However, if the surface is not smooth, they are reflected in a disorderly way as light rays are scattered in all directions. So it kind of depends on what light comes in contact with. Okay, so if it is um shiny and smooth, then it could come up like this. Or if it meets up on something else, then it could be, scattered. All right. Now, when light rays move from one type of material into another, their speed changes. If light enters a new material at an angle, then the change in speed causes the direction in which the light rays are traveling to change also. The light rays bend, as in diagram 3. Yeah, that's what we were saying here. They appear like they're bending. Okay. All right. This bending of light is called refraction. So this is an important word here when we're dealing with light. Refraction. Okay. All right, let's go to activities. Here we say complete activity 1. Read each statement in the table and use a tick to indicate if each is true or false. Light does not always travel in a straight line. Light does not always travel. That's false. It said light travels in a straight line. All right. Let's go and look at the properties here. This is where we have it. Light always travels in a straight line. Next one. When light hits a smooth, flat surface, all the light is refracted. Refracted means it bend. Bend. This is here bend. But this one had to do with let's go. So we need to find out if the light is really refracted or reflected. And there's a smooth surface. And let me go back to the section that talks about smooth surface here. It says also when light rays hit a smooth flat surface such as a metal or or a mirror, they change direction and all the light is reflected. All right, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to say false for this. Okay, so all the light is refracted, false. the speed of light changes when light rays move from one type of material into another. True. I'm going to take true for that. You know why? I remember it said right here, when light rays move from one type of material into another, their speed changes. So that's true. Let me see. Reflection occurs when light hits a smooth surface and continues in the same direction. In the same direction. That's not what it said. It says here that here they change direction. So change direction. No, so this is not right. Reflection sees a change in direction. So that's false. So light rays are reflected in a disorderly way if they hit a surface that is not smooth. That's true. Let's go back. Let's see where we find that one again. So it says, however, see it right here? It says, however, if the surface is not smooth, they are reflected in a disorderly way as the light rays are scattered in all directions. Can't fool me. All right. So here, do you remember that there are organisms that are luminous? What is the difference between a luminous object and organism, and B, non-luminous objects or organisms? So, luminous organisms like the firefly, or what we call pinwale then, those have the ability to give off their own light, and something that's non-luminous would not be able to do so. Okay, so maybe like a bee or a wasp or something like that. All right, so let's go now and see. There's a complete activity 2. So observe each object or organism carefully, then put an X beside each heading that describes it. Let's see. This looks like a disco ball. These are hard for me to see. All right. I'm not certain what these are. These are very small. But if this is a disco ball, if it has light in there, then it would be luminous. Okay. And that would be man-made. This looks like a firefly. That would be luminous and natural. If it is a firefly, it's really hard for me to see. Okay. I'm not certain what this one is. This looks like the candle, like this candle that was up here. Kind of looks like this candle that was up here. So yes, this would be luminous, but it would be man-made. Okay. All right. This looks like a jellyfish. All right, so that would be luminous and natural. This looks like the fire that's there, so that's luminous, and in this case this is man-made. Okay, this looks like a mirror. A mirror would be non-luminous and man-made. Now activity 3 says write a short paragraph explaining what light is and what produces it. So this is my little paragraph. Might not be perfect now, but we can work on it to make it better. But let's see what I have. Light is a form of energy. Let's put in the full stop before teacher says so. It helps us to see. Without light, let me cross my T, there is darkness, full stop. All living things on earth would die without the light of the sun, full stop. The sun is our source of natural light and heat. Okay, and then maybe I can draw the sun. Good. And I'm certain that when I am done with this wonderful paragraph here, that teacher will give me a tick. All right, guys. So let's go back to our success criteria and see if we were able to accomplish these things. So center this here. Have I learned? Am I able to explain what light is and what produces it? I think so. Can I complete the activities on the properties of light? I was able to complete these activities over here. Activity 1. Remember this one? Activity 1 and activity 2. Okay, I was able to complete those activities. All right. Here, differentiate between luminous and non-luminous objects and organisms. Yes, I was able to do that. And for activity 2, I was able to classify objects and organisms as what? Luminous or non-luminous. All right. All right, let's wrap this up with the parent voice once again. These are key concepts that you must know. Light is a form of energy that enables all living things to survive on Earth. It makes it possible for us to see. All light must come from a light source. The sun is the Earth's most important natural light source. Let me say that again. The sun is the Earth's most important natural light source. It makes and gives off its own light. Organisms, objects and or organisms that make and emit their own light are said to be luminous. Let's spell this word. Luminous, luminous. And they say here, you can go ahead and read your text, and that would be our First Steps in Science, Year 6, page 97 to 104, or the Mission Science, page 68 to 69. Read and answer these questions now. What? No, not what. Where does light come from? And how does light behave? All right, guys, take care. Go over this as many times as needed, and I'll see you in the next episode where we look at properties of light.